me now is the Conservative MEP Daniel Hannan. I mean, that timetable was always ambitious by Christmas, but it doesn't matter, it'll be done in February.
I think it's already been done. All we're waiting now is to stage the row. And the reason I say it's already been done is because nothing of substance is being asked. So the UK is pretending to make demands, the EU is pretending to consider them, but the bottom line here is nothing will change, there's not going to be any new treaty, we'll still be members on pretty much the existing terms.
But if nothing of substance is going to be discussed, why hasn't everyone just signed up to it then?
Because you have to go through the haka of simulated aggression
Really, so
to convince...
It's all cynical, this?
Yes, it really is.
Right.
It's a smokescreen, it's being staged in the most... openly cynical way. I mean, when the leader of an EU member state is reduced to saying we want more competitiveness, a bromide like that, something that every Eurocrat, every national politician for the last 40 years would have sort of nodded along to, and that is now being defined as a major aim of our renegotiation, or recognition that Europe has more than, the EU has more than one currency. I mean, why not recognise that the EU has more than one language? I mean, how is stating the bloody obvious any kind of concession? That's when you can see that nothing of substance is being asked for.
What about the in-work benefits and curbing those? That's the sticking point. We know that. That is a problem. It goes against one of the cornerstones of the European Union. But if there is a compromise on that, and there might be, that will be seen as a big victory.
Well, remember that David Cameron began looking for an actual border control. He wanted to be able to set a quota for an upward, the total number of people who could come in from the EU, which, by the way, I think would be a very fair thing to do, right? I mean, there will be people watching this programme now, Brits of Commonwealth backgrounds, who have had huge difficulties, just getting auntie over for a wedding because of how we've had to crack down on visas from non-EU nationals in order to free up unlimited space for people who don't have any connection to this country. All of that has been dropped, and it's now down to a plan about benefits that, frankly, we can do through domestic legislation anyway, and that doesn't require treaty change.
I mean, to be honest, though, Dan Hannan, we've spoken on many occasions, there'd be nothing that would satisfy you in that regard.
That's absolutely not true. I keep telling you what would satisfy you.
But to say that actually there will be a complete status quo, is that a fair and accurate reflection?
No, I have repeatedly set out what I think, not just what would satisfy me, but what I think would satisfy most people. Parliament should ultimately be sovereign. In other words, the EU should not automatically be able to strike down parliamentary statutes. We should have more freedom to trade with non-EU countries, and we should be able to opt out of some of the areas of EU policy that have nothing to do with economics or trade, such as criminal justice, environment, defence, agriculture, fisheries. If we could get those things, I think everyone would be in favour of it.
Isn't Dan Hannan right? There isn't anything of substance in this, and they're all playing a game, and that will, in the end...
playing a game. Well, he's just listed things that he knows that we'll never ever get.
Which of them is unreasonable? What's unreasonable about wanting Parliament to make its own laws?
The Skeps are coming up with a kind of impossible wish list, and it is said that David Cameron is coming up with an entirely achievable wish list. Although
they've been achieved already, Dan Hannan says. I mean, if you're saying things like no closer union, I mean,
what is the deal that they're going to do if it's all been done? Tell us how are they going to get the 4-year? How are they going to get the 4-year ban on migrant benefits through?
I suspect it'll be wrapped in to the shift in domestic policy towards universal credits. It'll be something that we legislate for.
There's going to be no discrimination between EU.
That's the fallback position. That's right, because you can do that without any treaty change. But I really want to ask you, of the things that I was just saying, that we should, hire and fire our own lawmakers, that we should have more freedom to sign a trade agreement with Australia or India. What's so unreasonable? What for a sovereign country is an unreasonable?
You're asking for a different settlement that is not on the table. It's just simply not on the table. If it was on the table, it'd be fine. But it isn't.
It's what all the non-EU countries in Europe get. It's what the Swiss do. It's what the Norwegians do. It's in fact what the Macedonians do or the Turks. It's not pie in the sky. And we could have gone for a proper kind of economics only, looser, semi-detached relationship. The Eurocrats were very, very clear that was on offer. We have chosen not to ask for it. Fine, I don't blame the PM for that. He's never pretended to be a Eurosceptic. Good luck. It's not his fault that people have kind of projected things onto him.
So where did he go wrong then? I mean,
he doesn't agree.
If he shouldn't have asked, or if you don't blame him for not asking what he wanted to, what do you blame him?
Well, I'm not. He takes a very different view of Britain's place in Europe. For me, he's quite happy with elements of political union. He didn't want to opt out. good luck to him.
Right, well,
Ultimately, he gets one vote, I get one vote, you get one vote.
These are the arguments that are going to be played out, obviously, all the way up to the referendum. What do you think is now going to happen in this campaign towards the referendum?
I mean, I think that both camps in the referendum campaign are dominated by corporate interests. I'm not convinced at all that David Cameron is going to get anything out of this renegotiation.
And if he did, would you back it?
Well, he's not asking for the sorts of things that I would demand. I mean, David Cameron wants the European Union to accelerate the transatlantic trade and investment partnership, which will have terrible consequences for our sovereignty, and that foreign companies will be able to sue our government when...
That's happening now, though. I mean, I get this a lot about TTIP, but the things that people don't like about TTIP, the way in which it allows companies to bypass the legal system, the corporatism, the lobbying, and indeed the rules on contracting out, the rules that prevent state management of public services, those are all existing intrinsic features of the EU.
Yes, they
Right.
are.
We're going to have to hold it there but stay with us.